question?
Oh yeah, I was just saying that it seems like much of what you get out of your intended purpose for community development and growth is long-term, long benefits. And those are often unintended consequences. You don't always know what you're going to get. I'm only familiar a little bit with the medical and higher education, which really will put communities together for long-term benefits. And there are many consequences that come up. I remember Boston University brought people together with Brigham and Women's chemistry department. Well, they just fooled around a little bit, exchanged things informally, but 5 years later they were using lasers to operate on a plaque on pig's heart, and then a couple of years later on humans. And there were many, many other cases like that. So that type of university is interested in creating new things, is looking at the long term, and many of the things don't go anywhere, but some do. But they're building a capacity for integration. These people always operated only in their own departments, and now it's starting to overlap. You see this in medicine and engagement. There's a tremendous amount of that cross-fertilization going on. But they've also deliberately put catalysts at certain points inside these communities and integrators. So there's certain things that happen. So they built the social dynamic inside of them to ensure that some things would be some action, there'd be some energy.
Catalysts are critical. The other thing that you talked about, you didn't say explicitly, which is communities result in emergent behavior. And by that I mean people will do things that you have no idea they're going to do. Some of them are huge opportunities for you, but you didn't see them. And this gets to operations and budgeting a little bit, which is we've gotten to a point in most of our budgeting that every dollar is accounted for. And when you're in that situation, you're not going to be able to realize all the benefits that your community is producing for you because you won't have the money to invest in the opportunity that they present you with. And so part of setting up communities is understanding what types of emergent things you might be interested in should they present themselves to you. And leaving room in your budget or your management approach to take advantage of that if it happens. A lot of community is setting boundary conditions and then encouraging a certain scope of activity to happen. And it's pretty unpredictable. You can't tell exactly who's going to make it happen or exactly when it's going to happen. But you can kind of put the bumper around it and say, this is kind of the general area that if something were to happen, that would be fabulous for us as a business. It's a little like biz dev in Silicon Valley, which is most biz dev guys in Silicon Valley will talk to anyone. And they find opportunities that they didn't even conceive of when they started the conversation. And so having that approach to, depending on what you're trying to do, because communities will churn up all sorts of stuff that you just weren't expecting.